You're live.
Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Manny, and I'm coming to you live from the KIVA Centers here in Worcester, right downtown, Main Street, Worcester, and I'm here with my boy, Mayor Joe Petty. It's good to see you again.
Good, man. Good to see you.
That app is getting more and more serious each time. It's like we got a thing going on.
Down.
Yeah, you're getting it down. I love it.
It should be Mayor and Manny.
It should be. Mayor Manny or Mayor and Manny? Put your name first. I thought you were saying I should become the mayor.
Yeah, that's possible.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows, next term?
Someday.
You running next term?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I really thought this would be your last term. Honestly, I just thought that you'd be over it by now, but that's how much you love Worcester. You're really going to be running again in 2 years. Right? Get your ballots ready. Joe will be back. And with that being said, I really want to introduce Shulamith and Yona. I got it right. I never get it right on the first shot, but I did, of the KIVA Centers. And I just want you to first hear from Shulamith a little bit about what the KIVA Centers is. And before I pass the mic to you, I want to brag a little bit. Because, you know, I do a lot of good bragging. I love to talk about myself. You know that, right? And this is actually where Manny J Media was first... This is where we got our inception, our first idea, our first thought. Yeah, here in the KIVA Center. So I actually came here once because I was struggling really bad with my own mental health issues to the point where I didn't even want to wake up every day. And my mom, who was one of the members of the KIVA Center back when you guys were on Shrewsbury Street, actually, was like, Manny, no, you got to go get yourself together, you know, get your mental right. Come down to the KIVA Centers and let me introduce you to some people. And so at that time, Mike McGinnis was working here. I believe he was a director of something. I don't know. But he had a radio show with Ernie Floyd at Unity Radio. Yep. And he took me under his wing because he knew I was having a bad day. And he said, hey, just hang out with me for the day. Brought me to Unity Radio, and the rest is history. Here we are today. Isn't that pretty cool? So I really have a special place in my heart for, thank you. I have a special place in my heart for the KIVA Centers. And I can say, like, it's not a farce. It really is. It does work. And a lot of times with mental health, though, you have to be ready for it to work. And I can say I wasn't necessarily ready, but you guys helped me to get ready. So with that being said, I'm going to hand you the mic so you can tell us a little bit about what exactly KIVA Centers is.
Well, thank you so much, Manny. You know, and Manny and I go back a long time because Manny has helped me in my own healing journey. And I think that's the core of KIVA, or those relationships building. So people can come in from all walks of life. It doesn't matter if you are from Wall Street or you're living on the street. KIVA is a place where people can come in, talk, create. And we talk about heavy stuff, like how do you process coming from a family where all you know is trauma, all you know is domestic violence, to amazing, just fun, silly memes, joking, karaoke. So I think that's what really sets us apart. And maybe you can speak to this more, Manny, but I think so much of mental health, it's so much of like almost like checklists, like, all right, let's manage these symptoms, or just kind of boring. But I think at KIVA, it's really kind of fun. It's about people meeting people and just hearing from different perspectives on your situation, or on, so you can take things or leave things, you know, and that's what drives me in this work, is really just the people. So we do all sorts of supports here at KIVA. We do groups on suicide prevention. Everyone who works here, all the way up to our CEO, is someone who has their own experience with mental health, trauma, and substance use recovery. So no one here is talking about it because they've read it in a book. We're talking about it because we live it every single day. So anything from trauma to those heavy things to those fun things, but we do groups, we do one-on-one support. And let's say that you've hit a crisis point in your life and you're thinking, man, I need to go to a hospital, but I can't afford a $2,000 bill coming in the mail. An amazing thing that KIVA does is we have Pure Run respite. So basically picture a bread and breakfast 24/7 hours a day. You can come in, have your own bedroom, find support, and it'll cost you absolutely nothing. It is completely free for our guests in the community. So you can find that online at kivacenters.org, Pure Run Respite, to get in contact with that. And then the other thing we do is just training, right? So if you come here and you get support and you're like, I kind of want to make a job out of this. Well, KIVA can make that happen. We have a whole bunch of careers, especially for Black, Spanish-speaking, and Indigenous folk here. We have a grant actually provided by the city of Worcester through the American Rescue Plan Act, where you can receive training in how to support people going through trauma, how to support people going through or experiencing the impacts of suicidality, either directly or maybe they're struggling with a kid who's suicidal. All of that you can get training on from KIVA on how to give support and then create a whole career in it that you can get paid for. So I'll give it back to Manny. That's my elevator pitch.
I love it. And I actually do have another question for you, being that you were essentially in the same boat. You know, when I came around, you were just someone taking advantage of the services. You were a member of KIVA, and that's one of the things I wanted to bring up was the career opportunities where you were able to grow, and I would like to say maybe even grow past some of your initial traumas that brought you here to then be able to be functioning in the workforce here. Can you just tell me a little bit about how your life has changed? And I also wanted to touch on the fact that this is peer run, which I think is what helped me so much, in that I didn't feel like I was in a clinical setting. I didn't feel like people were telling me what to do. I had a choice on how I was going to move forward with my own growth.
Yeah, thank you, Manny. Well, when I first came to KIVA, I was recovering from the impacts of really severe domestic violence. The person who I was with had actually convinced me I was bipolar, and had lied a lot about like my own actions. So I was on a lot of psychiatric medication. And it was because of KIVA, I would still be on those medications, even though that diagnosis, now my providers say it's not accurate. But it was because I was able to talk to other people who had gone through really similar situations, who recognized that within me. And what it did was it enabled me to say a different story about my life. Previously, the story in my life was that I was sick, that I was mentally ill, and that I shouldn't be around other people because I was dangerous. So I isolated myself because I didn't want to hurt anyone. And it was at KIVA that I found people who showed me that it wasn't what was wrong with me, it was what had happened to me. And then from there, it was, okay, this happened to you, and that is hurtful and it is awful, but I was surrounded by care, I was surrounded by compassion, and it enabled me to then rewrite my story. So it wasn't what happened to me anymore.
That's how I felt
it's
as well, yeah.
Where do you want to go? And what I wanted to do is I wanted to support other people. And KIVA taught me how to run groups. And then from there, I built a whole career here. Now I write grants. I actually recently wrote a whole grant on suicide prevention. I got to interview lots and lots of people on the topic, and we created a whole training about it. So now I actually have a whole career based on like something awful that happened to me, but now is something that I can meaningfully give back to other people, and it's kind of it's almost spiritual to me. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
Shulima, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for having us here at KIVA, and I appreciate everything you as well as KIVA have done. Well, first KIVA. Everything they have done to shout out to Brenda, shout out to Anna, shout out to Mike McGinnis. I can't remember, so many names. Vesper. I'm so sorry. Vesper, right? You know what I'm talking about. Shout out to all y'all who made such a significant impact in allowing me to choose to change my life and choose a different path forward and growth. And also, one other thing I wanted to touch on is KIVA is ever changing. It's ever growing. You know, I started with KIVA about 5 years ago. You know, I'm one of those spotty people. And that's the other great thing is there's no commitment. You come and go as you please, as long as you're here with the right intentions, right? And the reason why I'm bringing that up as far as the changeability goes is because Yona, hello. I just met Yona today. Yona never met me. Yet we're both in the same wheelhouse, if you will. I just want you to just talk a little bit about what KIVA meant to you, and then we'll get to you, Joe. I appreciate your patience, sir. You chilling? It's like, first you're late, now you're making me wait.
So I'm Yona. I'm one of the peer support specialists here at the KIVA Center's recovery learning community. And I've worked here actually almost a year now. And I have really enjoyed just being able to connect and support my community in ways that I was never able to before because I was never encouraged to like share my story in ways that I am here. And I think that that has been really helpful, not just for me, but also for my community, and also being able to connect with my community through the mental health task force, I think has also been really important because there have been times where KIVA Centers unfortunately has not been able to offer resources to our community, but there has been other local Worcester organizations and resources that have been able to connect with those resources. So I think through the mental health task force, that has been something that has really been helpful to both the KIVA Centers and the people that we support.
That was perfect. Shulamith, Yona, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys' time. And what a great transition that you set up for me. I appreciate you. You should come work for us or something. Like, you're good at this. The mayor's mental health task force. So that's one of the things that you started citywide, right just before COVID. What was the inspiration for you to create the mayor's mental health task force?
I was say Shulamith and Yona, thanks for sharing your experiences and let people hear it, because there's still stigma out there when it comes to mental health. Right. But when you tell your story, Manny, it takes other people who are afraid to come out and get help, make them more comfortable. Yeah. Where you can put to a place like the KIVA Center, or Everyday Miracles, or Genesis Club. And
there's so many. Worcester is full of so many mental health resources. Yeah. And I appreciate you.
Be afraid.
No, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Because there's a number of fears, not just the fear of being ridiculed, but maybe the fear of not being able to afford it, or, the fear of rejection. Or there's just so many fears that are misguided or misinformed. All these programs, Genesis Club, Everyday Miracles, KIVA Center, first and foremost, they're all voluntary and they're all free. And how important is it, do you think, that we as a community and the city of Worcester are pulling together resources to make these mental health resources free to the community?
It's important that people understand that there are some services available, because unfortunately the hospitals, the medical institutions are all backed up. Yeah. Sometimes you need some emergency services. It can take you months to find a bed.
Seriously.
To help you out.
If you have an emergency, definitely go to UMass. But if you don't have an emergency, you might want to think otherwise, because UMass is so overburdened with so many mental health emergencies that Kiva Shulamith was just speaking about the respite. I think that's a resource in the city that's way underutilized, way underknown. I don't know if that's the right word. Is that a word? Underknown? It's a good one, though. But it's essentially, like she said, it's a bed and breakfast. You can go, whether it's a couple days or even up to a whole week. I just learned something myself. Yeah, you can go and hang out and get away from the house. I mean, I know every now and then Mrs. Petty might need a break from you, nah?
Be lost without her.
Well, no, I know you'd be lost, but she could use a break from you, no? You're distracting me. What?
Mama J Media in the house. Come on, Shula.
No, wait. What do you mean?
No, we're interrupting for 1 second.
Okay.
Come on. We did it. I told you I'll do it.
What?
Listen. For the sake of the mayor knowing, today is the last day, technically, of Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay. Although it should be Mental Health Awareness every day forever. Right. Right? So, last year, a year ago, we made, here at the KIVA Center, Shulamith, our time capsules. Okay. And this is what they looked like for us. And inside, we put this. Now, I don't know what the hell I wrote a year ago. And with that said, I know there's no cursing.
So everybody who came here
did this
a year ago did a time capsule.
As did Shulamith.
Okay.
And so here's mine. I don't know what it says, and I just want to see what it says, and then I'm out of your picture, and the mayor can have his time back. I love you, Joe. Okay. You know, you think I don't, but
let's move it, because we're on tight time schedule with the mayor.
The mayor loves me, just like city council.
I love you too, and I appreciate you.
What is my life like now? That was a year ago. I have suicidal thoughts. Oh, God.
We don't have time.
And a racing mind. No, we really don't. We do. And COVID has affected my mental health tremendously. I'm trying to live. What do I wish people understand about me? I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm depressed. Blah, blah, blah. And so that was what I wrote. And the details, and I will post this for people that care or want to know. I can send it to them. But at the end, making it short for Manny and the mayor's sake, is I imagine a future version of myself. What would I say? Getting and remaining sober. I'm there, not to the extent I need to be, but where I was, I'm there, right? And stabilizing my life. I'm there, not where I need to be, but I'm much closer than where I had been, and continue to grow success and living. And that was my time capsule from a year ago. So today I am 150% better than where I was, but I'm not necessarily where I need to be. And with that, I can feel comfortable in this space, KIVA Centers, with my what I consider to be inadequacies.
Inadequate, yeah.
Yeah. And know that that's not problematic. And so I encourage anybody out there who's watching to please entertain this. And a shout out again to Shulamith. I love you.
So was this an idea you have come up with, Shulamith? Or was it a community idea?
It was an idea Wanda and I had together. I don't know, Wanda, can I share a little bit about?
Absolutely.
Wanda called me up. We have a program called like mobile support. So anyone if they're in a crisis can call and get some support or fill out a form online. And we come to your house and we give that support. Well, it came to Wanda's house and you were not doing well at all. Like, I think you were thinking of like, this might be my last few days on earth. Mm-hmm. And I said, Wanda, I have an idea. I want to make a time capsule. And in 1 year from now, I want to see if there's a difference in how you feel. So that's where this project came out of. And we have a bunch more that we just, other people opened up. But, that's kind of where it came from. And, how do you feel now, Wanda, having opened it up?
I'm extremely emotional. I'm going to finish reading it when I go home. And I'm only emotional because when you reread some of the things you've written in the past and they're not so pleasant, it's a little shocking. But I'm happy to know that today I'm in a much better space. And I'm glad to know that the KIVA Centers and my community, meaning all the other resources I've had available throughout the city, have helped me in my journey of. And with that said, I'm getting out of camera and giving it back to the mayor, Mr. Joe Petty, who I love.
All right, so that was unexpected. Sorry, everybody. I just didn't realize that we were going to have that that part. Yeah, my mom, she demanded it. She got it. So hey, that's what moms do, right?
Yes, that's right.
You gotta listen to the mom. You gotta do what they say. And I think that that was actually a very fitting moment, and that you can see what the KIVA Center does for people, and how you can be at your lowest, darkest day, and sometimes all it takes is a person to talk to, a place to write it down, and a way to move forward. And I think KIVA provides that for you. And then, as you could see, a year later, they revisit the situation, and there's just a lot of talking, and that's one of the things that with mental health, I think, is one of the best cures. I don't know if cure is the right word, but the best treatments anyway, is just talking about it, right? Taking away from that stigma from it so that you could actually talk about it, release it, and move forward from it.
No, KIVA Center does a nice job. You get to see Wanda, what she's gone through, and how she progressed over a year. And I know you asked me earlier how we get started with the Mayor's Mental Health Task Force. We, back before COVID, that's how we time things now, but pre-COVID, we decided we're very concerned that nobody was going into the mental health field, whether it be psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, line workers, other people you need. So we got together, and the group probably started with like 10 people, Now it's up to probably several subgroups, and I wouldn't be surprised like 25, 50 people in these.
Oh wow!
In these meetings, they meet on a regular basis, and then we have maybe once or twice, probably twice or three times a year, we do the whole group. Maddie Castile, she's the brains behind it, and
huge shout out to Dr. Maddie Castile, UMass.
Then we progressed into the first thing we did was the stigma campaign.
Yeah,
and we got some grant money. We did a whole promotion on getting people to say it's okay to go seek help, and then COVID hit. Then we got interested in Worcester public school kids, or school age kids, and adults. There's a lot of issues surrounding COVID, which we don't even realize yet.
Right. Especially post COVID.
Yeah.
That I think that really gave a lot of people more insight to their own mental health, and to say, you know what, maybe I do have some issues that I want to address, whether it's anger or sadness or whatever diagnosis that there may be professionally. I think it was kind of obviously a curse, but also a bit of a blessing, in that it gave us as people a chance to just stop for a second and look internally and say, what do we want to better our lives? And I think the mayor's mental health task force came around, even though it was pre-COVID, just in time to help the city get through COVID.
We had the mental health task force conference at the beginning of the month of May. We had City Hall, and it was a great crowd. A lot of people came in. A lot of service providers were there. Then we did the yellow tulip, planted the yellow tulips for the suicide prevention and mental health month, and we had the I guess it'd be a ribbon cutting. After we planted them a few months back, so it came out really nice. We planted in several places in the city of Worcester, and I just want to thank Dr. Castillo and different organizations that Ken Bates and everyone who was involved in your organization. So mental health is an important issue. And
so I wonder, you heard me share my story, my mom, Yona. Have you ever had any afflictions or personal experiences with your own mental health that you had to overcome?
Yeah, family members. Yeah. Someone close to me who I remember, I think I was a sophomore or junior in high school, getting on a plane by myself, never flown before, to go find.
And those are the scary planes. That was a long time.
That long ago.
Just kidding.
And, so we went. So I remember going on a plane and trying to assist and find the person, going to Chicago and picking the person up, and he was arrested by the police and and put into more protective custody.
Right. But it was that serious of a situation where the police had to get involved.
It was a struggle for like 30, 40 years after that.
By the way, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I need to tell you, huge shout out to the Worcester Police Department. You didn't expect this. I didn't tell you about this, but we did have a couple situations in my own personal life, in my own personal experience, where we needed the police to intervene. And they were just so, I wish I could remember the officers by name, but it was 4 different officers, 2 different times. Well, 2 different officers, 2 different times, so 4 different total. Sorry, I don't know if I'm making sense. But whatever you guys are doing, working with the police department, especially around mental health situations, kudos, you guys are doing it, because they came and their patience was a lot different than I've experienced in the past. Their approach was a lot different than I've experienced in the past. And I actually felt like when they left, something was accomplished. So I just really wanted to share that with you, because I know you eat a lot of crap about the police. I wanted to share that with you, and to know, for the community to know also, obviously whatever resources best help you. But I think the Worcester Police Department is starting to, and shout out to Chief Saucier. I couldn't think if it was Deputy Chief. That's what I was going in my head. Interim Chief, thank you. I knew there was another word. Interim Chief Saucier, you could tell the dynamic is changing, and I hope to see that continue.
Now, the police officers are well trained here. I think in Worcester, definitely Worcester, New England, I think they're, not to criticize other departments, I think Worcester, New England police officers are pretty well trained.
Yeah.
And mental health is part of their training. And they have the clinical response unit, another critical response unit that goes out with Community Health Link. They have the van. When those people are called in, when the police think it's more of a non-police issue. So I think we just started doing that over the last year. So I think as that grows, you'll see even more of an impact in the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. John, I know you had a question. Was it your question, community?
How does he deal with being the mayor? In the pressure of the mayor?
That's a great question.
How does he process things?
Yeah, so John just asked, how do you deal with being the mayor? It's a lot of pressure. How do you process that emotionally and mentally so that you're not being self-destructive?
I ignore it.
Yeah?
No.
I can't. Listen, I get mad for you sometimes. I'm like, he's only the mayor, people.
Sometimes it can be pressure, especially you don't want to say that. More pressure comes on when you want to make sure you say the right thing at the right time. Because you don't want to say the wrong thing and make a situation worse.
Right. And you're in a position really, and I've even, I'll admit it, I've put Joe in a position myself where he's damned if he did and he's damned if he didn't. Yeah. Right. And we apologize and we move fast. But, perspective is everything.
Right. And I think people know me enough. Like I can say, I think if you're honest with people, you try to give them an answer. And sometimes you just don't have an answer.
Right.
And, but you process it. You have your time by yourself. So you try to, Do you cry?
I can't picture you crying.
Really? You don't think I'm emotional?
I really can't picture you crying. Sometimes you have your bad days, you shed a tear or two?
Yeah. You can.
The man's human, people. Believe it or not. We got it out of him.
Emotional young people die.
Isn't that terrible? It really is. It's so hard. And I know,
our city workers, the firefighters, and police officers.
Yeah, all the people who work every day to put their lives on the line. And then
in the last couple of months, we had a number of, shootings. And which, you see the young person there, you don't know where their life was going. It's
exactly
over nothing,
Exactly. And that actually is a great transition into something else I wanted to talk about. And that is today is May 31st. And I don't know who else agrees with me, but I call this the unofficial start of summer.
Okay.
And
ahead of time, but we're close.
Well, I mean, June 21st is really the start of summer, but May 31st is when everybody comes out their house and starts bugging out.
Memorial Day week.
Yeah, we have the cookouts, the parties, the fireworks start going off, and
weather's nice today. It's gonna be nice tomorrow.
So. I know, I love the what. Thank God. I'll take the rain yesterday for 3 days of sunshine. Right?
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm bringing that up though is to say that school's getting out in just a couple weeks, and people are going to start looking for things to do. And we want to make sure that our city is safe, right? Yeah. So I would like to start. We're going to talk about things that the city is doing for people to do. But before we get there, I just want to talk about what are some of the plans that the city has to ensure a safe, fun summer the best we can.
We're trying not to be reactionary. We're trying to promote what goes on to see what's a city manager has committed to fund Rec Worcester to last year's amount.
Oh wow!
So that won't be cut. He's committed to that. John Mahoney put an earmark for $300,000 for Rec Worcester.
Nice.
So it should pass.
And what is Rec Worcester? I know what it is. I'm saying nice because I know what it is, but not everybody might know.
We hire youth to support youth programming during the summer. We have 5 areas of the city, probably one in each city council district. Right. We used to have 10. Then we lost some funding last year. We cut it back a little bit, but people want to sign up, probably go on the website, and we do hire people for that.
Such a great program. My son actually works for Rec Worcester.
We have to see how we can make sure we can promote it after the summer. Yeah. We used to have after-school programming, and we have to make sure where that's going to be. That's worries me a little bit that we don't want to cut that.
But I like that that's on your mind.
It is on my mind.
So I appreciate that. And
then, so we have a lot of community people out there trying to support people who need their help, whether it be a KIVA Center, whether it be outreach workers, which we're short of. I learned a lot over the last month. If we have more outreach workers, we probably have a better response to what's going on. We have Worcester Police who do the summer impact every year. And
this year it actually started a little bit early.
Yeah, we've done that before. But this one's Paul Sarge. I thought he started early, and he changed the method how they use the police officers. So he's asking each police officer who's part of that. You get out of your car for 2 hours, walk the neighborhood.
Imagine that.
So let's say they pick a certain
stretch your legs a little bit.
Yeah. And they pick a certain part of the city, and they're going to walk that neighborhood for 2 hours, and the rest of the shift they'll be in their car patrolling and just telling people when you walk, hey, we're here.
And the goal is to interact and get to know the people and build a relationship.
What the chief is doing too is each patrol officer now has to get us out of their car for 30 minutes. So, and just walk somewhere, maybe walk a neighborhood, maybe go into a coffee shop, just to meet people and really develop a relationship.
And engage and build those bridges between the community and the police department. Because we've talked about this before. Police department isn't going anywhere, right? Police department is an integral part of any city. You get rid of a police department, that's like taking a leg out from underneath the chair of the city, right? You know what I'm trying to say, right? Okay. All right, good. Thank you. As long as you know what I'm trying to say. As much as, people might think there's different ideas that'll work better, for right now...
We have the Youth Violence Prevention Task Force. I started it with Ed Augustus after back, I'm going to say, make it the year around 2015. We had some shootings in the city of Worcester. Yeah. Probably even some tough things going on back then. And we put that task force back together, and it still goes today. It's got to be we have subgroups that meet every week. Yeah. And as a whole team, the leadership meets every quarter to go over all the issues, and we have very different, whether it be social workers, whether it be government workers, whether it be the DA's office, court officers, judges in this meeting, public schools, of course the chief, fire chief, and just to talk about how we can make things better for people's lives. And I think it's had a good impact in the city. I know we did have some violence this year, and hopefully it appears right now that maybe we got some control of that, but it's a long summer, as you know. And, but I think the police being out there, as you know, this is not a police issue. They're part of the solution along with the community. And that's what the message we're sending. We're trying to figure out how we can do things better.
Absolutely. And then for the sake of time, because time flies when we're having fun, I did want to ask you, what did I want to ask? Oh, school committee. Ooh. Listen, my mind's all over the place. School committee. With the public schools, just recently, there was an announcement that there was a cutback on funding.
$22 million.
That's a lot of money.
It is. What happened was, it was a couple things.
Everyone's worried about, before you continue, everyone's worried about educators being laid off and so many jobs being lost.
Yeah. We're going to have
can we talk about that?
Yeah, we're going to manage through that. I'll tell later on why this happened, but answer your question. The goal is, not the goal, it's going to happen. No permanent teacher will be laid off. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's really good to hear.
We had, I think it was maybe 87 and 60, I forget the exact numbers. Yeah. Teachers, 66 administrators. But it's going to be people who are temporary, or even the goal then is try not to lay anybody off. Right. But we have to send out notices legally to people, and we'll bring them back if we have the funding, because we're going to try to handle this. If it happens, you can't guarantee it through retirements. People who don't want to come back, or to get another job, or they're not asked to come back, and try to keep us, because we don't want to lose all the young people we just hired.
Right, and you don't want to lose all the extra resources and aid for our teachers, because our teachers have for a long time been overworked and overburdened. So this was a great relief to them as well, right?
And I think that you're going to see Rachel Monterez, the superintendent, manage this well with the school committee and her administration. We'll get through this. I've been through tougher budgets than this before, where we have hundreds of people, and I first got on the council. So I've been through it. I know how in this. I think Brian Allen and Rachel Monterez have done a great job managing expectations, and really what the difference is that they're really communicating to people what the issues are and what some of the challenges will be. This was a result of in the budget. I have to ask a question. I was looking at the budget book, and this gives some stats, and I'll ask on Thursday night to get some background. It appears that we had back before COVID, like 2019, we had more students and more teachers than now. So we have less students, but the same amount of teachers. So than we did back then. So I think we should manage through this all right. So we're going to have the experience. And the classroom size is going to maybe go up a little bit on average to like 21 to 22. Could be 23 maybe in some classes.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
It used to be 28.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Back when we had more.
I think 20 is too much.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I say this as someone who...
But this will come back again when we get the budget back into check.
I need a little extra attention from my teachers. And it is what it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I was a little slower than some of the other kids. So I really appreciate what, John? It is what it is. I appreciated that the teacher had that extra time to spend with me in the smaller classes. What am I talking about? So English class, 20 to 30, like 25 kids in that class.
Yeah.
Art class, there was only like 12 of us. And granted, I like art, and yes, you can argue that art's an easier subject. However, I did way better in my art class because of the access to that educator than I did in my English class.
Mm-hmm. Well, good point.
You know,
we'll get. My point is, we'll get through this. And the reason we're suffering of the budget is a little bit because the inflation factor caught us off guard. The inflation factor, he gave us 1.65%. As you know, inflation's a little bit higher. I think the state law it maxes out at 4 points.
It's ridiculous.
4 or 5%, and that was $14 million of the budget. So, and also that we did borrow against ESPER money. The higher teachers and administrators back a few years back, knowing that we're going to have this issue, but we thought the enrollment would go up. The enrollment's going down because we get paid per pupil. So along with the inflation factor had an impact on the budget. But again, I think you'll see us. I really have a lot of confidence in the superintendent. Yeah, that she'll do the right thing. She'll make sure all our programs are managed well.
Excellent. And you got all summer to figure it out. So hopefully by the time September rolls around, you'll be good to go.
Is Thursday, so our first budget's next week.
Is that open to the public?
It's closed. It's open. You can listen, but you can't control. You can't contribute. We already had the public meeting on the budget a couple of weeks ago. This is closed to the school committee members and administration to talk about the budget. But you can come in and listen.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. So we only got a couple minutes left. One thing I do every time I interview is I do ask the community if they have any questions that they'd like me to ask you. So I don't want to waste your time by asking you if you have questions and then not ask the questions. So because of time, I'm going to take the most liked, which you can see here. Yeah, we got a lot of questions here. Look at that. So the most liked question is a two-parter. One is, how do you plan to make the Worcester Public Parks more accessible and more equitable for people to be able to use them, not just for leisure, but for also things like busking and business?
What?
Busking and business. Busking is like, if you want to play your guitar and put it back out in front of you.
You're talking about the vendors too. That talked about that.
So
we just go ahead.
How can we make that more equitable and go?
No, I think on that is more permitting process. We try to make it easy for people. I know we get some complaints probably 2 or 3 months ago. I think it was on Elm Park. Somebody in Elm Park wanted to do something that was finding it difficult. But we've invested probably $90 million since I've been mayor into the Worcester Park system. And equitable wise, we distribute that money in every neighborhood. It wasn't just certain part of the city, and so pretty much, I think the parks are in great shape. Yeah, I know if you go into any parks, but it will really look nice. Whether it be the ball fields, the kids playing, or people just enjoying. The busiest park I always find is Elm Park. Yeah, you have a diverse group of people there. It's like the United Nations, and people are enjoying themselves, talking. The kids are on the playgrounds, with people walking around the park getting some exercise.
Yeah, there's so much going on down there. And then part two to that, it is. Are we saying that now? Yeah, are we letting them? That is where Manny J Media headquarters is. We got to have you come down to the studio sometime.
Yeah, Elm Park.
Elm Park, yeah. Well, not in the park, but in the, yeah. We're actually right on Elm Street.
In the water there?
Right, literally across the street from Elm Park. So how lucky are we? We get to come out of our studio, and if we want to go for a stroll around the park, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Because I grew up here, I remember like the little island in the middle of the pond with all the trees. I'm not going to lie, I kind of miss that. That was a cool feature of the park. But whatever. I understand Asian longhorn beetle had to come and ruin everybody's party. But whatever. And then finally, this is a really good question. And I agree. Why are the Green Hill Park bathrooms locked sometimes during the park hours? And how do they expect the community to enjoy the park, not just there, but in all the public parks, if we don't have an operational bathroom or a porta potty to access?
Right. Absolutely right. It's a great question. We've been struggling with that. When we kept the bathrooms open.
Dude, I'm sorry, but if you can get somebody to make sure I get a ticket literally 2 seconds after that meter expires, I need somebody. You give out a lot of keys. Give somebody a bathroom key to go open.
I think those were the ideas. I put one of those little tabs you put on something. If you lose it, I put it under your car. So they all know where your car is. So.
They did it just for me. It's you. So we're prank wars, huh? Okay. You hear this? Prank wars. It's on.
That's a question we've always struggled with. It's a good question. The problem is,
especially with people with kids. Kids can't hold it to save their life.
Once in a while, we do keep the bathrooms open. We have the people working there, but that's not open on a regular basis in the sense that we kept them open, people would destroy them.
Yeah.
So they try to keep them closed for until some type of public event.
But I mean, isn't that like one bad apple spoils the bunch mentality, exactly. Where it's not really fair, especially to kids who can't hold it.
I agree.
Just because you got grown-ups who can't behave themselves.
No, I agree. That's a great question. That's something we should look into again. I might bring it up during the budget session.
Right. So. That'd be dope. And with that being said, we are officially out of time, aren't we? So I'm going to let you go because I know you got a busy schedule. My brother, my man, my friend. Look at you! Hey! Joe Petty, the mayor of Worcester. Back for another run around, and we'll be back, I'm sure, next month. We'll see if Ileana...
It might be a little bit tough to schedule.
If she approves it. We'll see. I love this. Hey, listen, it's another episode of Manny and the Mayor here on Manny J Media Community Delivered. We'll see you real soon. Peace.